Yes! Yes! So you've returned, my friend. Welcome. Have a seat. Oh, do we have a tale to tell you today? Diablo IV Season of the Malignant. Baldur's Gate 3 coming to save us from the heavens with bear stuff. The show begins. Have a seat, my friend. Enjoy the show. All right. Oh man. Dude, the funny thing is that like before I was like setting things up, I was like, what are we going to talk about today? And like I realized like this week there was actually a lot of shit that happened.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there's a ton of games coming out this month. Like a ton of games.
True. Big true. Big true. Big true. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Just Gaming Podcast here on Legendary Drops with me, your host Ian and Mark.
M. Diddy.
Oh,
it's been a day. It's been a day.
So yeah, obviously we got a lot of different stuff to talk about, but so Halls of Torment.
It's good.
So the funny thing is that like I've been playing Final Fantasy 16. I've been sitting on the couch, jamming that, enjoying that. It's been a good time. I'm in the very last leg of it now. I only have like probably just a little bit left. But like I'm doing that normal thing I do when I get close to the end of a game where I'm like,
play something else.
I go play something else. I do it every time. But
it's a good something else though. So
yeah, well, I mean, it was just a slight distraction. I was like, you know, like some of my weekdays, I like to chill out. I like to watch a little bit of Asmongold on the side. You know what I mean? And I was watching him play it, and I'm like, wow, this looks a lot of fun. I looked it up on Steam, and I'm like, it's $4. Well, plus it's like Steam summer sales, so I've been buying up all kinds of games lately. I bought like 7 Final Fantasy games for like probably like $40 in total. Like insane deal.
Can't be that mad.
You can't be mad at that. And then because I plan on doing like a Final Fantasy-a-thon at one point where I just blast out like streaming. I
like how you just said that. You like Final Fantasy a-thon, like it was its own word. I like that.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy a-thon.
A-thon, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, no, I ended up getting distracted with that, and I really like it. It's a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying it. What about you?
I played that, and then you had talked that you had picked up Grandia 2, which I already had on Steam, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna jump back into it, and it ate about 8 hours of my life already, and I've forgotten how good of a game that is. It is a very, very good game.
I think like even though I watched my friend / shared a controller for Final Fantasy 7 and 9, I think I want to say Grandia 2 was my first ever like JRPG that I myself like played all the way through.
Where you took the training wheels off and went
after Yeah, it was my first one that I played all the way through. And it's definitely still one of my favorite stories of all time. I always really enjoyed the story of that game.
Well, yeah, you were sitting there watching me do it, and you're like, no, that's the tongue of Almar. That's not the wings. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We both played this game, and I can't remember shit about it. But you're like, no, that's not it. It's like, damn.
I cannot tell you how many times I've played that game. Because I brought this up in other videos and stuff like that, but like, you know, like I didn't come from like a rich household or anything like that. Like when I got a game system, like that was what I got. When I got a game, that was like the game I'm going to be playing for like the next year or so, because like I just didn't get a whole lot of games. You know, like what they like Keeping Up with the Smiths or something like that. Like my Joneses, mom was Joneses, yeah. Like my mom tried. You know, as a single mom, like she tried, but like there's just only so much that you can do, and I understood that too. So I just made sure to try to get like as much value as I could out of the games that I got, and I played that. I played Grandia 2 probably at least I don't know. I probably played it at least 10 times. Which is saying something, because it's a JRPG, right? Like that's a lot of game to play. But also Record of Lodoss War. Did you ever get the chance to play that?
I think you said something about that. I don't believe I did.
Massive sleeper, awesome awesome just like ARPG. I think it was like Diablo inspired, like Diablo 1 inspired. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I would highly suggest looking up.
Is it on Steam or anything?
I don't know. I'd have to look to see if it even exists anymore. It might not.
Yeah, that's true.
It might not.
What's crazy about like with game conservation is how much of the code, like original code, gets lost to time.
Yeah.
And it's just gone.
Well, I mean, for that game specifically, it's like it was in disc format. If it wasn't re-released on Steam or on PC, then it's just gone. You know, that's it. Man. If it was never ported, then it just doesn't exist anymore outside of the disc that it was made on. That's so, I think it was an Eidos game, so like maybe they still have it, and I don't know, they whip it out one day like to people that actually really enjoyed it. I'm not really too sure.
Didn't Eidos get like disbanded and sold to Embracer?
Well, then they have it. So then yeah, it's probably never gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Probably never gonna happen again. What's up, Fonz? What's up, Chef, Tom, Jackie, Nixie? How's everybody doing today? So no, I've been enjoying playing some old school stuff. It kind of begs the question though, and I was thinking about this, and I'll probably do a video on it. But like, you know, people really like to talk about how like awesome Vampire Survivors was, right? Mm-hmm. And like how awesome games like this and a lot of these indie games are that keep popping up, and then they're like, oh, it's so much better than XYZ AAA title, right? Diablo 4. Final Fantasy, whatever. Like they'll slide it into that idea of like, oh well, can't you see how much more you're enjoying this game than those? And you know, the thing is that like the more Final Fantasy 16 that I've played, the more I've realized like it's a fantastic game, but like they didn't need to do the side quests.
Yeah.
They could have just did without the side quests entirely and just focused all of their efforts on the main story and find a way to make that more like, obviously the main story is absolutely a blast. The combat's a ton of fun to engage with. But like, I think as a whole, a lot of these gaming companies today, and we really see this with that like Horizon Zero Dawn, like showing it was $220 million to make Forbidden West. It goes to show like how much money these guys are just dropping out their ass. Yeah. Well, and none of it's going into how awesome the game is to play, like how fun it is or how engaging it is. It's going into, you know, high dollar voice actors. It's going into high dollar cutscenes. It's going all into the graphics engine. But none of that stuff is going towards performance. None of that stuff is going towards like the actual gameplay or making an engaging game to play. You know what I mean? Like they've kind of lost the plot.
Yeah, and to add to your point, like the other side of that is they add a lot of bloat. That's what it is. It's bloat. Side quests are bloat. You know what I mean? Especially when they don't.
Unless they're good.
Yeah,
unless they're good.
To do with, if it has something to do with, you know, one of the characters part, you know, of a party, you know, type of deal. But for most part, most side quests kind of just blow anyway. They just kind of do. So it's just kind of weird that if they don't put it in, here's the weird thing about the gaming community. If they don't put in a whole bunch of side quests, people think, well, it's not worth the $70 because it's like I'll be done with the game in 8 hours, or I'll be done with the game in 12 hours, whatever, you know, whatever they're gonna throw out there. Yeah. And so they throw in all this added bloat that's supposed to be some sort of pseudo value to the gamer, and I think that's where a game like a Vampire Survivors or a Halls of Torment shine, because it's such a simple idea of a fun game loop.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, there's nothing else but that fun game loop. So yeah.
Even Halls of Torment shows that you can still have like side quests, but make the quests a part of the actual gameplay loop itself, right? Yeah. And I think that's the difference between like a lot of story-driven games that we see today, is that like say like a Final Fantasy, well, like you sending me to go over and fight this, or you sending me to go talk to this guy, and this person being like, I lost my underwear. Can you help me find them? I think those monsters over there stole them. And then you go over there and kill those monsters. Yes. And then you go over and you kill those monsters. And you get their underwear back, right? You know, like that is disrupting to the actual gameplay loop of the game, right? Because the actual gameplay loop is playing the story. When you're disrupting that, that's when it's like it takes you out of the game, it takes you out of the experience in general, right? So like I think it's like a lot of these developers really do need to like go back and take a seat and go say, hey, wait a minute, like we used to do things different, like where the game was much more engaging. Like the problem is today is that when they're putting a lot of this other content in AAA games, it's not value. It's literally just trying to drive up the hours played.
Yeah.
Because as gamers,
hours played is value.
But it's not though, right?
No, that's how they associate.
I know that's how gamers associate. I only played it for that. Look at the fucking Diablo community. This game is absolute trash. It's absolute and you look and it's like time played 200 hours. It's like, what did you want? Yeah. What did you want? They're like, oh, it's just a time waste. Just you lost cost fallacy or blah 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 blah. Whatever the fuck they say. And I'm like, dude, it's how did you not know what you were getting into when you signed up for it in the first place? Did you not play Diablo 2? Did you not play Diablo 3? Like the whole idea of the games is kill monsters. Hopefully something cool drops. You equip thing that's cool. You go kill more monsters. It is in itself a mindless game and a mindless experience.
Yeah. And to your point, Ubisoft got smart because if you've played the last 3 Assassin's Creed games, they are super bloat. I'm talking so much game that you just quit. You just stop playing because you've just had enough and you're still not done. Yeah. And so they've gone back to just a story narrative driven. More, I mean, it's still a quasi open world type deal, but it's more linear. You know what I mean? A lot less shenanigans. So I'm hoping a lot more developers start to take cues like that. Like, hey, there's no reason to have a game that's 600, 700 hours. That's a single player game. That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It is.
No, I know. Well, and here's the thing. That's what the problem a lot of Diablo players are having right now as well, right? Where they're like, I'm just there's too, like, it's almost like there's too much game. That's the reason why I brought up. I'm like, I think that at launch the level cap shouldn't be as high as it is. If they drop that level cap to like level 75,
I think 65, 70, right about there.
Or like 80 at most, right? Yeah. And then obviously that would mean that they would have to shift the capstone bosses for World Tier 4 and Lilith and stuff. And I think that's what they should have done in the first place. I feel like they made too much of a gap between the end of the campaign and then level 100 and fighting Lilith, because it's just a fucking desert.
Yeah.
It's just a desert. It's just like,
it's just that weird what is it, power creep. So like at level 60 you feel like you're way too strong for tier 3, right? So you hop into tier 4, you're super super weak. By the time you get to like 70, 75ish, it's like the main open world stuff, you're just smoking through stuff, right? Like the normal deal. And if they would have stopped there and then saved tier 5 for your 75 to 90, and then maybe a tier 6 for 90 to 100, that would have been pretty cool. That you're right. That would have been pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think it's also just an hours played thing as well, right? Where like a lot of games after like hour 40, hour 50, hour 60, like the gameplay will kind of switch. It'll turn. There'll be more things for you to do, more things for you to, But the problem is that like, since the end game technically starts the minute that you ended the campaign, it's like. Like, there's like people are, and the thing is that like you're seeing a lot of these complaints where people are like the campaign's only or not the campaign. They're saying there's no end game. There's no end game, and I'm like they're like Diablo 3 had more end game, and I'm like whoa. You have the Tree of Whispers, you have Hell Tides, you have world bosses, you have Nightmare Dungeons, and there's something else too I'm forgetting. Wasn't there?
No.
Okay. Still, that's three more things.
It's about the same amount that we had in Diablo 3 at year 7 or 8. So
Yeah. No, very true. Very true. It took a long time. It took a long time for them to be able to get there. And to be honest, like other than like adventure mode, which is basically Tree of Whispers and then running rifts, that was it, right?
Yeah.
There was only two things to do.
Nightmare dungeons are running rifts.
Yeah, there's only two things to do. So for people to complain about how there's just no end game, the reason it feels that way is because you've been doing the end game since level fucking 45.
Yeah.
It's too long. It's too long of a gap. If they shortened that gap and then players could have just jumped to another character by then and been playing a barbarian or a rogue or switching to another class or something, this would be a completely different story, and I guarantee most of these people wouldn't be complaining about it. That might be a hot take, and people will probably be like, no, you're wrong. The end game is actually bad. But at the same time, like, fuck off.
Yep, I've got proof. There's a guy that I work with, and earlier in the week, he was at like level 45. He had just beaten Lilith, and he's like, can you hop in and just show me what because he's new to Diablo in general. Can you just show me what to do? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
So I hop in and I run through them to get. I said, okay, we got to work up to your capstone dungeon, and, all this. So I start showing him all these things. He texted me today. He's super excited. He's like, yeah, man, I'm level 54, and it's taken him, since last week to get to level 54. But he's excited about it because he's playing at that pace. You know what I mean? It's not like it's he's trying to just grind to max, min-max build. He's enjoying the game for what it is. And so like there's a flip side of that coin. I mean, not everybody plays the same games the same way. They're not looking for the same things that everybody is.
And that's the other thing too. I'd probably say one of the reasons why I am the least upset person about Diablo 4 in general is probably because I only get to play Diablo like a couple hours a day, if I do.
Yeah. Like
I've been playing Final Fantasy 16, so there's a full week that I didn't even touch Diablo 4. I came back, I'd come home from work, I'd play it for a couple hours, and then I go to sleep, I wake up, go to work, come back, play a couple hours. What's up, Timmy? I play for a couple hours and just keep going back and forth like that. You know what I mean? So it's like for me, it's just kind of something that I like to play while I'm like, watching YouTube videos or something on the side. That's kind of what Diablo has always kind of been to me anyway. Yeah.
My schedule is I'll get on once a day. I'll try to get at least 2 Paragon points and then get off. That's
because I'm not in any rush to do anything anyway. Yeah. This first season doesn't start until the 20th. I'm not even going to be in town for the first season, by the way. We didn't talk about this, but there's not going to be a podcast for the next 2 weeks. I'm glad.
I was waiting to see. Oh no! And the chat. No, nothing.
No,
like,
no.
Okay,
and just like,
cool.
yeah, fuck off, guys. Yeah, no. So I'm not gonna be home. Like maybe we could pull it off on the evening of the 23rd, but probably not. Because I'm gonna be out of town from the 15th onward, and then actually I don't know if we'll have a podcast. Honestly, I don't know if we're gonna have a podcast the weekend after that, but we should hopefully. Because I'm going to be in Las Vegas at the Final Fantasy Fan Fest.
So you're looking at probably back on the 30th.
But I do plan on trying to stream from the Final Fantasy Fan Fest if I can. So keep your eyes open for that. So I'll probably try to do a live stream through the YouTube app. I've never done it before, so we'll see how that goes.
It'll probably work perfect the first time, so
yeah, without any issues, I'm sure. No hiccups whatsoever.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll work just fine.
YouTube never has issues.
Yeah. So I have all that going on. I have vacation time, the Final Fantasy Fan Fest. I'm also going to go to Final Fantasy's orchestra the week after that again. That's rolling back into town.
Yeah.
I initially wasn't going to go, and then Jackie told me that the lady that sings Answers is actually on the bill, so she's going to sing either that or Dragon Song.
Are they gonna have that dude that played the weird duck things, where you just squeeze the little note thing, the circle, little white things that open
Masayoshi Soken?
Yeah,
no, I don't.
Stared at him awkwardly.
I don't think he'll be there. I don't think he'll be there. We'll see. But if we I don't know, we might have to do something else on the fly. Maybe have to do the podcast on a different day or something like that as a makeup. I think we'll do that instead. I don't really want to just completely skip it. Next week we kind of have to, unless we do one early, because I leave on the 15th. I leave the morning of the 15th.
We'll do it Friday night then.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Instead of streaming, we'll just do a podcast.
Yeah, we can probably do that. Yeah, we can do it. You guys want to do this on the late cast? You guys want to do that on the late night? You know what I mean? We'll get some. We'll get some drinks. We'll have some wine. I'll light some candles.
Just sit and talk.
Wow. 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 So let's actually talk about some gaming news. How about that?
Okay. Apparently the internet is a bunch of bigots and they hate Larian. So
man, we are just diving right in it, huh?
Yeah.
We're getting right into that whole stuff, huh?
Yeah. Makes me mad and sad at the same time.
Really?
You know, the internet's an awful place.
So well, I mean, go ahead and like preface this. I don't know what are you talking about.
I don't okay. Let's preface this. You're right. That was a little. I went in a little hard.
You went in a little hard on that button. I felt really uncomfortable by how you started that.
I came in a little hot.
I felt you made me a little uncomfortable with that.
So Larian did a developer update. What is it called again?
They did the Panel from Hell.
Panel from Hell, and it's basically the last one before Baldur's Gate 3. I stopped watching it because there was a lot of spoilery type stuff, that I don't want to see because I want to be surprised with some stuff. But if you follow gaming and you're on the internet, you probably saw the videos or memes that we're talking about relationships. And in Larian's games, they let you romance however you want to romance.
Yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And which is cool. It's an inclusive type deal. And so there's a video of one of the main characters about to have relations with a druid in bear form. Okay, so this throws out a lot of,
Harry.
Creepy, yeah. I was more concerned about the positioning, but apparently it offended a lot of the internet because it's they aren't. I don't know. It just does. They don't like. They think it's weird. I don't know. It's a video game.
Okay, so I was actually in the live chat for this one. I was watching it. I was reading the chat. There's a lot of people that were freaking out over it. There were a lot of people that were really happy about seeing it. There were a lot of people that were not happy about seeing it. There was also obviously some people on Twitter and stuff like that that were complaining about it. But guess what? Lucky for you and lucky for me and lucky for everybody else here, I don't give a fuck about Twitter. Because it is like the whole idea of like internet cancellation or internet anger or anything like that is just, it's so fake. It's just not even, it's not real. It's just not real.
It's disingenuous?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's disingenuous. I'm saying it's literally just a non-issue. It's not real. You know what I mean? Like it's like some dude saying they don't like the color of your, like I like color of your hair or something like that walking down the street. Like who is that? Why do they matter? They don't fucking matter. Their opinion doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like people can be upset about stuff all they want, but like here we are talking about a game that's going to have more freedom of choice than any video game we've probably ever played ever.
Yeah.
Narratively speaking, at least.
Yes.
Like not necessarily gameplay, but you get what I'm coming from. From a narrative perspective, this game has so much more control over the narrative. We have so much more control over the narrative than we ever have in the past, and it's huge. The game is huge. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were just I was waiting for you to respond.
Oh, no. I just read your text about the
Yeah, I can
it might be the headset.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I turned my mic down a little bit. Is my voice okay for the
Yeah, you're fine.
people? Okay.
You're fine.
Yeah, it's like I said, you don't have to engage in these romances. Like you play the game the way you want to play, but it's just available for anybody to play it the way they want to play it, and I don't know why that should offend you. Like,
Nestor says it right off the bat. It's only a scene that will happen if you make that scene happen.
Oh, and guess what? I'm going to make that scene happen.
there's probably some people out there that they don't know they want that scene, and then it ends up happening to them, and they're like, "Why is this scene happening to me?"
And then they're just scared of bears for the rest of their life.
Or they're not. Or the opposite. Or the opposite. This game has revealed something about myself.
Your nickname's Grizzly?
Yeah. So I don't know. For internet people getting angry about stuff, I just try to tune it off, and just not pay attention to it, because it just doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I am 100% on Larian's side for all of the changes that they've made, all the big narrative changes that they've made to this game. There's a ton of big narrative changes that they've made. Everything that they've done. Did you know they completely rewrote Will?
Yeah. Did you also see that now, depending on what character class you are, what race you are, when you enter in, like in Baldur's Gate, you go into a bar, people are going to react to you now.
Everything.
And say stuff. Like they're going to
everything.
What you are.
What your class is, what your race is, what your like identity, gender identity, and stuff like that is. All of those things are going to actually be narratively impact the world in some way. How characters react to you, how characters talk to you, whether certain characters like you or don't like you, things like that. And I think that's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's really cool. People can say what they want about it, but it's really, really cool, because it's like, whatever the reflection is of your identity, or what you want your character to be or look like or act like or whatever, like, that's the point of Dungeons and Dragons. That's the point of Baldur's Gate 3, is to be able to not only have this reflection of the character that you want to play within the world, but also at the same time have the world react to that character. Not it just
saying it's a role-playing game.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
That is a terrible, terrible pun, Mr. Ryan. Terrible. That I liked it. So.
Yeah, I felt the faith they will do well. Yeah. Well, I guess what they said is they felt that Will had a really cool story, like a really cool background, but they themselves felt like he wasn't being delivered properly. Like that story wasn't being delivered as well as it could be. So they rewrote his voice lines, and they rewrote his storyline so that it would make a little bit more sense and it flowed a little bit better. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, of course you're going to be excited about a dude with a fake eye that has a pact with a demon. I mean, come on.
Dude, did you hear, this is one of the things I caught on there, is like, if you do pick a warlock, you're going to be able to at some points be able to call upon your demon.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You can call upon them to ask them for like help making a decision and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think that's really, really cool. I cannot believe all of the changes that they made to the character creator.
Yeah.
Like, and do you know what the wild thing is that, like, guys, initially when this game was first in early access and they like got to like the latest iteration of the character creator, I was like, this is like probably one of the best character creators I've seen in a game for a really long time. Like, still allowing you to make like a decently attractive looking character. You're not going to make some freaking mongoloid, you know what I mean? But Ian is significantly louder. Oh. I hear like every word I speak out of your microphone.
That's so weird. Let me change my headset.
We'll get this fixed. We'll get this equaled out. Thank you for saying something about it. But yeah, no, you're actually going to be able to call upon your patron. Is that what it's called? Yeah, your patron. You'll be able to call upon your patron, and you'll be able to ask them for advice in certain situations. It's really cool. I don't know. I think it's they've added so much more narrative depth, so much color to the narrative, and so much more choice than there was ever there to begin with. And it's just cool. Yeah, I don't hear it now. I wonder why that was. Oh, because he's plugging his mic. He's plugging his headset into his microphone, guys. That's a big no-no, by the way. If any of you guys get into sound, like, don't use that option where you can plug it into your microphone, because what ends up happening is any electrical discharge or feedback will cause that to reverberate through the microphone. I'll have to tell him about that. once he sits down. But yeah, no. So they made some pretty big sweeping changes to the character creator. Now apparently we're gonna be able to have 3 different colors in our hair. Isn't that great? They obviously made a bunch of different changes to be able to facilitate us using the Dragonborn class, which is also really cool. What? What's wrong? He doesn't have any sound. This is what he gets for trying to By the way, chat, I'm gonna let you guys know. So today, Mark thought it was a good idea to rearrange his entire room, right? And he wanted to do that the day of the podcast, of course. And when he does that, all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys know this, but if any of you guys play games on PC, you start moving stuff around, things just stop working sometimes. That recently happened to me with my sound system. I set everything up, and then I moved like 1 or 2 plugs, and then all of a sudden, none of my plugs worked anymore. And as a result, I became incredibly frustrated and wanted to cry. Did you get it fixed?
Kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Kind of.
I don't hear myself anymore.
Okay, then we're good. We're good.
Were you plugging your headset into the microphone?
No, I did the other one though.
Oh,
so I
okay.
heard myself like super loud screaming. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. That's funny.
It's been a day, man. It's been a day.
Yeah, I have to rebalance your audio.
Okay, I just moved my microphone further away. I'll just talk louder.
Okay, there you go. That should be balanced back out, and you should be good.
Okay, cool.
This is when they still say you're quiet, but they're gonna say in like 2 seconds he's good.
Yeah.
Is he good now?
I am sad, Tom. I had a terrible day. Terrible day.
Way better. There you go. All right. So now I hear myself again. Holy shit. It's so. Anyway, I'm really happy with a lot of the changes they made. There's a lot of different stuff though. It's not just that. It's also the fact that there's so many new classes as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think besides just the new classes, having all the other subclasses underneath them is really, really cool addition that they've added as well. Kind of a little bit like Pathfinder and or Path of Exile, Pillars of Eternity. Pillars allows you to do that too.
What?
Subclass out.
Oh, multi-class.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Multi-classing is going to be kind of cool. But the problem is with the multi-classing is that you don't really become proficient in one class.
Yeah, you don't get the end spell for one of the classes, but you can go into level 12, you can get a 6 and 6 or 8 and 4 depending on however you split, you're split 10 and 2 depending on what you need. So, there's a lot of combination, a lot of variety for whatever, you want to play.
Yeah, and I think I wrote down notes initially because I have a video that I'm doing on Baldur's Gate 3. I have 2 videos I'm doing on Baldur's Gate 3 next week, actually. But one of the things that I wrote down was the fact that, they've added 12, so there's 12 classes in the game, 46 subclasses.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a fucking lot, dude. That's like...
Yeah.
Like this is the reason why I said before, and I brought it up in another video where I was like, Baldur's Gate 3 is likely going to become like RPG of the decade, if not like a generational RPG, because people forget that, like, how impactful Divinity 2 Original Sin was when it was released, how impactful Baldur's Gate 2 was when that game was released, and those games are still played today.
Yeah.
Like quite regularly, and Baldur's Gate 3 is now going to be one of those games. And the thing is like something that they brought up that I really appreciated in their panel from Hell was they were talking about the idea of not compromising on anything, which is something that's like really
unheard of.
Yeah, really, really. Dude, I can't keep messing with the audio, guys. Otherwise they'll turn into the whole podcast. If it's really bad, tell me it's really bad right now. I can fix it, but I can't mess with it the whole show. So, God damn it. Now I'm hearing you. I'm hearing myself again.
How about now? Do you hear yourself now? Say it.
What? No, I don't hear it all. No.
Okay, it's because I had YouTube's.
That's what That's what I thought it was.
Okay. We're good.
That's why I texted you, and I was like, "Hey, I think I'm coming out of your phone or something like that." I figured you had YouTube up somewhere. Anyway, so I've completely lost track of thought. So
unheard of. Them not compromising.
Oh yeah, no, they were discussing the idea of not compromising on anything, and they brought it up in multiple occasions. They specifically initially brought it up with their narrative, and that's the reason why they said 174 hours of cinematic dialogue, all these different things. Like they didn't want to compromise on any of that. But the problem is that when you don't compromise on that, you end up compromising on something else, right? And sounds fine on my end. Sounds fine. Will you please stop talking about the sound? Like, holy shit. I don't know. Like, Mark changed a bunch of stuff today, so I can't necessarily fix it. So he rearranged his room.
Yeah, after we get done doing this Baldur's Gate, we'll go through that.
So, anyway, God damn it. They didn't want to compromise on anything, so it's like fucking pisses me off. So they didn't want to compromise on anything. So the thing is that they made sure that every single area of the game, regardless of what it was, whether it was the narrative or what else, everything had to match the same thing. So like if the narrative was going to be something that didn't compromise anything, well then the combat couldn't either, or the graphics couldn't either, or the character customization couldn't either. All of these different things had to make sure that they fell into place the right way. Otherwise, it wasn't going to be good enough for them to release. And that shows even more so when they talked about pushing the game back to make sure they could hit 60 frames on PS5.
Yeah, 100%. And not committing to any other platform. He didn't even state the platform in the panel from hell. He just said, we're not committing to any other platforms right now. So that's Xbox, guys. They can't get co-op to play on the S.
Yeah, well, they brought that up too during the panel as well, where they were like, "Hey, there's another console we're planning on releasing too, but we can't really talk about it right now because none of that's really been hashed out."
Yeah.
So it's like, well, Xbox has kind of screwed the pooch on this one.
Yeah,
so.
Well, it's gonna have to come from Phil Spencer, just saying, "Hey, the S isn't gonna have co-op." You know what I mean? But there's a parity clause with Xbox when you make games on Xbox, and so if it can't do it on the S, they're not going to put it on the X. It's just the way it works. It's just stupid. It's dumb.
Yeah,
it's just silly.
So I think I saw somebody say actually. Wooly said a question for you too. Does detailed appearance customization in an RPG matter to you? Yeah, 100% it does. For me, it does. Like initially, like I would probably say at one point in time it didn't. And it's weird with Larian games specifically because like Larian games are always like really good about having like awesome origin stories to play.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing the same thing that they did in Divinity Original Sin 2. They're also bringing in those origin stories, where you're going to be able to play the origin stories of all of these characters.
Which I'm almost 100% thinking I'm going to pick an origin character for my first playthrough. To be honest with you, to get their story.
If I did, I think I would play the evil Tav.
Yeah. I was thinking either Gale or Will.
The what is it called? Dark Urge?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like so they also revealed that there's going to be a evil Tab. So like Tab is like your base
default
character,
name.
your default character that you get to play, and outside of that default character, you also are going to be able to pick a Dark Urge character. Now the Dark Urge character is this character that, well, it suffers from a dark urge. So like you'll be in specific conversations with characters, and like all of a sudden like your character is just going to have like this like devil on their shoulder that's just going to be like, blood,
do it,
blood, fucking rip his arm off, bite his eyeballs out, and you're like, and like you can give into that urge and you can lash out and do and like, but it's weird how the game shows it because the game kind of acts like it's like you're just imagining it, but then all of a sudden you snap to reality and it actually happened and you're like, holy shit. What did I do? I think they showed it with like the portal scene when you first go to pick up who's the wizard?
Gale.
When you go to pick up Gale, and he's like, but instead of like him just popping through the portal, it's just his arm that comes out. And it gives you the opportunity to just like bite it off. It's like what? And I guess like if you do and you go to camp afterwards, you like you like go to sleep, and when you go to sleep, you have a trophy, and you're cuddling his arm that you bit off, and you took it as a trophy.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
I don't know if that means that you would kill Gale in that moment, or if you would show up later like one armed.
Just one armed. Yeah,
that'd be so sick. I think that'd be really cool. Like came back for revenge. That'd be so awesome. I'd be so down for that.
Chat, are any of y'all interested or excited for Baldur's Gate 3 like we are? Out of curiosity. Game comes out on the 3rd of August, and that's too far away for me already. I mean, even though they bumped it up a month, I'm like, hello, I want to do it now. I was trying to get people in our Discord to just go ahead and fire up the...
3rd of August for PC.
For PC, yeah. Well, I'm talking about the only platform that matters.
It comes out on what, the 19th?
6th or 20th. I thought it was the 6th of September.
Oh, yeah, you're right. September 6th for PlayStation 3. 5.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
3.
For PlayStation 3.
We're going back, baby. I don't know why I said
that. We're going way back.
I thought I was talking about PlayStation 3 earlier today or something, I guess.
It's going to be a really good game. If you've never played a Larian game, and me, we had a discussion actually in voice chat with Wooly about this, and he asked me a direct question: why do you like Baldur's Gate 3? And it was super hard for me to answer his question, because he doesn't like Larian games in general. You know, he like Divinity 2 didn't like grab him. You know what I mean? Like he didn't care for it. Like I know, so I went ahead and just kicked him out of the voice chat. No,
yeah, I would have just.
But I enjoy their storytelling. I enjoy the fact that they allow the mod community to do what they want to do with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this game's going to be huge. I mean, I know Starfield's coming right after it, but man, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be, honestly, I think it's going to win Game of the Year.
I think it's going to win Game of the Year specifically because of Keeley. Yeah,
Keeley loves. But
also at the same time, it's just like, I don't know, man. Like the thing is that I feel like Starfield and Baldur's Gate are for two completely different audiences.
They are, and here's the thing: is I think Baldur's Gate 3 is getting a lot of hype, and the same problem that we're having with Diablo 4, with people coming into it and not knowing about that type of game specifically, are going to have. There's going to be a lot of negative online press about it, from the community about it, because the combat's so slow. It's stupid turn based. This is so dated. Blah 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 blah, because they just didn't research before they bought a game. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think the biggest benefit for us specifically is, and we've talked about this in the past, right? Is that like, because people are like, oh, you're like, misinformation just brought up. The more hyped you are for a game, the more disappointed you are when it's released. But the funny thing is that when it comes to Baldur's Gate 3, this is a game I've already played.
Yeah, I've already got 115 hours in it.
In the first chapter.
I know it's good. I know it's good.
So just giving me the opportunity to play more of it, I'm just going to enjoy it. And to be honest, so that you guys know here in chat, like that's going to become like a regularly streamed game on this channel for probably quite a while, to be honest. Like obviously I'll still slide in some Diablo 4 and stuff like that, but I'll be playing a lot of Baldur's Gate come August.
Yeah, there's just when you're in there having fun with your friends and like just making up the lines as you go. Even when you're playing by yourself, dude, it's still a blast to play. Like the game is just a damn good game. It is.
But I was talking. There's the Dark Urge character right there that they had made, having their dream about what is the community is criticizing the game because the Xbox drama can't win. Oh well. Do you know what? Do you know what the funny thing is that like I'm just so sick. I'm so sick of console Andes ruining gaming.
Okay.
I'm serious. Okay. I'm sick of console Andes ruining fucking gaming. Like one, it needs to be my box. My box is the best box. Your box can't win. It doesn't matter if you built your box or if your box was made in Japan or the US or wherever. No, my box is better. It's cooler. My box has Phil Spencer. My box has
Jim Ryan.
Like, what are you guys doing, dude? God, you're so weird. So weird. Like, why don't you want everything on everything? Why is it like, oh no, Spider-Man 2, that game looks like poop. I'm not going to play that. I know that's going to be shitty. Like, I'm sure Spider-Man 2 is going to be great.
Spider-Man 2 is going to be pretty good.
Starfield looks like it's terrible. Starfield's going to play at like 15 frames. I'm sure Starfield's going to be great. Like, both sides do this stuff all the time, and it's so cringe, dude. It's so cringe. And the worst part is that like I feel bad because we at one point in time, like we actually dipped our toe into those communities of people that like to push back on consoles like that and do this weird console war shit. And like they think it's a good thing because it's like, like the negative side of the internet, right? That's where all the fucking views are, being so controversial all the time or something like that. And honestly, it's just stressful to even listen to. Like, and the opinions are so bad.
Yeah, they are. No, so I'm going to take a different aspect on it where people are mad about the Xbox thing. What do you want developers to do? Do you want them to put out a game that doesn't run well on your preferred platform just because so that you have it, or would you rather them push it back and wait till it's good? Because you'll sit there and say when a bad game comes out, they'll be like, oh, they should have delayed that. They should have pushed it. They should have pushed that. There's no reason for them to let that out. So now you have a developer that says, hey, we're going to push these off until we can get it to where we think it's good. And now that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like
it's really funny because what it is that like the delay for the game to come to Xbox has now become a point of point of conflict.
War. Yeah,
a point of conflict because now the Sony boys are like, see, the Xbox is a piece of shit. It can't even handle Baldur's Gate 3, but guess what? The PlayStation 3 can. Or 5. PlayStation 5 can. And then on the other side, the Xbox guys are like, Larian is the most shit studio in existence because they can't make a game for the Xbox? Are they crazy?
Yeah. I heard this, okay, on the internets. I heard that they're a bad studio and that the S could handle Baldur's Gate 3. You have never ran Baldur's Gate 3. It is actually quite demanding.
Baldur's Gate 3 runs like, I'm sorry, but like you're going to be able to play it on a 20 series card. I don't think you can play it on a 10.
No, I tried it on a 10 and it's 30 frames at best.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got into the 30 series that I was able to beef it up
even my 30 series, like it doesn't struggle with it, but I mean it works it.
Yeah, it works. My room gets warm, I'll tell you that much. So it's hey, you know what? Misinformation, Xbox controllers are superior. I will agree. But yeah, no, it's just dumb to like. I don't think developers can win, like, because not all developers are equal.
My God, Ryan, you're playing Baldur's Gate 3 on a laptop. You cooking an egg on that thing or what, dude?
Yeah, the touchpad mouse is probably like just sizzling. It's like over there doing hibachi on it. Yeah. But they can't win. Like if they put out a crap game too early and it just can't run on the consoles, and then it's just a bad game forever.
Well, yeah, for game releasing, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, right?
Yeah, I mean it's just silly. That's silly.
Push it back, push the game back, and you're a terrible company. Release it, and it's not in a perfect state. You're also a terrible company.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they just like they try to act like, well, if you can't release it on time, then you must be inept, right? Like you guys just must not be able to do things properly. Must be a bunch of idiots running that place. I hate gamers, dude. I think that's what I've learned. Yeah. Since making YouTube videos and stuff, like I'm like I just hate like gamers. Like we are, don't get me wrong, obviously there are some level-headed people, right?
There are some.
There's I'd probably say most players are probably pretty level-headed, but like we are the most fucking demanding, whiny, opinionated, entitled pieces of shit I've ever seen. Holy fuck! Holy shit! Like why even have kids when you can have gamers?
Why have kids when you could have a YouTube chat?
Yeah, when I can have a YouTube comment section.
Oh my god.
No shit, dude. Dude, it's honestly embarrassing. It makes me feel embarrassed to be like a player of certain games or an enjoyer of certain games. Like especially with like Diablo, right? Over the last like while, like I've watched the meltdown that is the like Diablo 4 subreddit. Holy shit, guys. Like fucking get it together. Fucking get it together. Holy fuck. It quickly went from like, hey, the devs are trying their best. You know, the devs have been really cool. I'm really liking this part about the game. I'm really sick of people complaining about it, to it literally devolving into like, these are the worst developers I've ever seen in my life. Dude, some guy, I'm not bullshitting you. Some guy yesterday had like tweeted at Adam Fletcher.
Well, Fletcher, yeah.
Adam Fletcher, the community manager for Diablo 4. Dude tweeted at him saying, hey man, maybe if you weren't sitting around posting pictures of you and your lover and your kids out having fun, maybe you should be instead inside working on my fucking game and making it better. Then Diablo 4 wouldn't be a bad game. And I'm like, homie, talk about terminally online, dog. Like, you're what?
Whoa. Well, before we started the show, like I'm newer to content creation than you are, right? So I don't have the following that you do, and so I don't even read the comments anyway, right? And you were saying that you have gotten to a point to where you had to just stop, right?
Yes.
And you were just telling me some of the comments that people were saying, and it's awful. Like it is like completely like I don't get it. I've never in my 44 years of being alive. I know you're 45. You're a little bit older, but it's cool. Mm-hmm. I've never gotten on YouTube and just went to someone's video just to drop shit on it. Even if I don't go watch content that I know I'm not going to like, right? I just don't. Mm-hmm. I don't have the time for it. And it's just crazy that, you know, people will tell you to off yourself or it's just crazy, man. It's a crazy world we live in.
It really is. It really is. No, yeah, I get like DMs and PMs and all kinds of stuff on like different platforms when they find out like, oh, they find my Twitter, they'll send me like a direct message. I mean, I've had people say some heinous stuff to me that you just never say to any person ever in real life, and it's quite disturbing. The internet is a very scary place. When you put yourself out there, it becomes even more scarier. But no, I'm dead serious. Look, I'm gonna show you babyface forever 39 years old. If this is a 39-year-old babyface, like what fucking country do you live in?
You look great for 39.
Holy shit! Are you kidding me?
He's only 26. I love it.
Look at this right here. So this is the Diablo 4 subreddit. Can we possibly get stats back from enchanting? I brought this up last podcast. I don't give a fuck about this. All the stats on the items are randomized. Before, in Diablo 3, the stats were actually specific to every single slot. Remember?
Yeah.
Like, the very first slot could only be these, like, 5 stats. The second slot could be only these 5 stats. So, like, it doesn't matter anymore because all the stats are randomized on the gear. You already know I'm just to say this. I'm a rogue, right? I have a ring that I want. Well, that ring needs to have crit damage. It needs to have bone damage, and it needs to have crit chance. And then I know what the fourth one needs to be, right? Like I have a list of other ones that the fourth one can be. No matter what, I'm still looking for that ring to have at least three of the 4 stats that I need. So like, what are you talking about? You want to see what it can roll to? Shut the fuck up. There are gold sinks everywhere, but no gold jackpots. What's the point of Uber uniques? Longtime Diablo 2 player here. Diablo 4 loot system is just not fun. Respecking cost is stupid and annoying. Is it wild to accept loot goblins can't drop blues or anything worse? Screw elites and bosses. These are truly more annoying. Loot drives the end game of the fuck. It just. There you go. That's the Diablo 4 subreddit. I wanted you guys to experience what it looks like. It's just a bunch of fucking. It's literally just like crybaby circle.
And to answer your question, Nixie, who raised those people is the internet. The internet raised those people.
That's actually very true. That's very true.
It started like, I remember getting internet for the first time, and like chat rooms were like the big thing when it first came out. Chat rooms were the big thing, and it got dicey then. Once people had anonymity to themselves, it just became a shit show. I mean, that's just the way it is. Whenever you don't know, like I put my full name on my channel. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm not that. So when I say something, I'm at least somewhat aware of what I'm saying and the ramifications of what I say. You know what I'm saying? I don't hide behind a screen tag. And I'm not saying that you're bad for having a screen tag, but you also are respectful for the most part. So, actually, I've never seen you be disrespectful. But it's like, that's what it is. It's anonymity. It's the fact that you can go on there. You can just shout out into the universe some bullshit, and just to get people like upset to give you attention because you didn't get attention as a kid. So
yeah. I mean, I don't really go like, I'm not gonna go like that deep into it.
No, I'm going that deep.
Yeah,
Dr. Phil, you're a dumbass.
You're a dumbass.
You're dumb.
Why did you get on the Diablo 4 subreddit to begin with? You can say it. You can say I'm a piece of shit. That's why. Oh man, no. So it's one of those things, dude, where it's just like I brought it up in the video that I talked about earlier. Like the problem is like people's expectations for the game were incredibly high because it's been 10 years since the last game came out. They expected it to meet all of the expectations that they had for it, and it's just gonna take a little while for the game to get like the
meaty.
Gaming is in a completely different position than it's ever been in before, because every single player is always coming into these games now with the expectation of the game is going to be bad. I hate this fucking company, and if this game doesn't meet this list of all these things, I'm going to post about it every day online. And I'm going to draw a picture of like the general manager for the game on my wall, and I'm going to scratch his eyes out and listen to My Chemical Romance.
While I put on lipstick, yes. But on the other
side, I was a young boy.
The flip side of that coin is gamers are also expecting every game to save their life. You know what I mean? It's going to be the last game they play. It's going to be a game that they're going to play for the next 6 months. You know what I mean? But we also are in the same sense. What's next? And it's like, I'm just like, we used to like back in the day, like games didn't come out like that. You know what I mean? It was like you'd have a game, then there'd be a couple months, and then maybe another game would come out.
Yeah. I mean, like it's like the rapid fire of the games, but I also feel like it's like I don't think like gamers ever had like expectations like too wild of expectations on games. We just hear like the next one's coming out, and we're like, sweet. What is it gonna be like? Yeah. That was it.
You know what I was thinking about a game? This is so off topic, so in the weeds. I was thinking about a game in the Castlevania franchise, but it's Dark Souls-esque. I think that would be like a super cool ass game. So
go ahead
and make that for me.
So like Dark Souls.
Okay, but with whips.
There's so Elden Ring.
But with whips.
Elden Ring.
With a cooler whip.
Yeah, with a whip that actually works. With a whip that actually does damage.
Yeah. I'm just saying, with the story of like Castlevania would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, they have, who has the rights to that? Konami.
Yeah, and they're terrible. So unless you want to play a slot machine, they're not really doing anything with their IP. So
that's true. That is true. Well, no, because didn't they start? They're making the horror game.
Oh, Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did reawaken some of their IPs. So it looks like they're going to try to actually make video games again.
Well, it's because Sony paid for the exclusivity for it. So.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Let's see here. Is there anything else that I wanted to bring up about Baldur's Gate's? Lord. Let's see here. Oh, they did talk about the length of the game. I thought this was a really interesting topic to talk about. Because they were talking about how, you know, the 174 hours of cinematics, the how many written words were in it. You know, there was basically the length of like all the Lord of the Rings books combined. They say if you blaze through Baldur's Gate 3, if you main story quest your way out of this game, it's going to be 80 plus hours.
Yep.
80 plus hours. If you get distracted at all,
if you look for something,
by Sven's words alone, he says it could multiply the time you spend in the game. It could be hundreds of hours then.
Yeah.
It just depends on how far the rabbit hole goes, depending on where you go when you start, you know, getting distracted with certain things.
Yeah.
You know,
he also
I think a really good example of that is like the Underdark, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For
From
sure.
what I understand, that's a completely optional area to go to. You don't have to go there.
Yeah, I mean, in the first act, it gives you the option of going there or through the mountain pass. So
there's another way too, by the way.
Oh.
Or like, there's another couple ways actually, from what I understand. I only thought it was just Underdark or Mountain Pass to get to Baldur's Gate. It's not. There's a couple different ways.
Yeah, that part where that building with the paladins in it, that road's blocked off there too. So. Yeah, but he also said that if you were going to play it like you would like a D&D, like you were playing it like D&D, whatever.
Yeah.
So like it's a Friday night, you know, your crew gets together, you play your Baldur's Gate characters. He said it could take upwards to a year to finish the game if you're going to play it like that.
Okay.
That's weird. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. If you think about it, just playing one night a week, you know, your D&D style, whatever.
That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do on the YouTube channel.
It'll take forever.
We're gonna have the ultimate Baldur's Gate adventure here on the Legendary Drops YouTube channel.
Are you throwing the gauntlet down that we have to dress up like our characters? You ain't got no stones.
No, I don't have any boobs.
Oh.
Depends on how skimpy I can make my character. I'm just gonna come out here in like a bathing suit. Oh man. Yeah, I mean the length of the game, like this, we started off this podcast talking about that, right? Where it's just like, you know, game length. You know, a lot of people will judge the value of a game based on its length, but like, it's not just the length of this game, it's also like the actual like content that's within it. Yep. Because it's not like,
respect your time.
Yeah, this isn't just like, it's a long game to be long. No, it's just because there's that much stuff to do, there's that much content. Yep. Which does say like this is not a game for everybody.
No. 100% not a game for everybody. CRPGs in general aren't for everybody.
This isn't a game that's going to be game of the year because it's sold a shitload of copies.
Nope.
It's going to be game of the year because it's sold a decent amount to a group of people that will probably continue to play this game for a long, long time.
Yeah, and then a lot of people will jump into it once mods get created.
Oh yeah, it's gonna. Oh no, from there it pops off. You know what I mean? So, man, I'm just so damn excited to be able to have this game. The funny thing is, this is the game that's gonna save me. You know, this is the game that's gonna be my forever game.
Did you hear Tom's story about this game?
What?
Well, okay. So first, he bought it on Stadia. That was the first red flag.
No.
So he bought it on Stadia at the low price. So now he has to rebuy.
I forgot Tom was a believer in Stadia.
Yeah. So now he has to buy it on PC at the full price of which I have to give them. It's only $60. It's not a $70 game.
They still have. I think they still have some collector's editions available.
Do they really? That's a pretty sweet statue.
I tried to buy it for the PlayStation 5, but they're out of stock.
Did you see that statue? That picture of the statue that I sent you for the Final Fantasy one?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I
can
did.
tell you're lying.
You didn't send me a picture. You sent me a TikTok, and I always try not to click on those because I don't.
Dude, they're so good. Did you like the Teletubby one? No.
Guys, would you ever take Mark for a dude that loves TikTok?
I hate all social media. I love TikTok. I love it.
You literally today was telling me how he made a recipe off of TikTok.
I did, and it was delicious. It's so weird. Like the algorithm for that app is like, if anybody was ever worried about Big Brother listening to you, like that app knows. Like I'll be like, "Hey, honey, what are we doing for dinner?" And then for the next hour, it's nothing but food on my phone. And like no matter what you're doing, it's just going to show you what you want. It's amazing.
That's funny. That's funny. Did you watch the part of the panel from hell where they died to playing tactician mode? Like they the devs, the combat developers got smoked in tactician mode.
Oh wow.
Like there's zero chance. Like it wasn't even close. It wasn't even like, oh, this is a nail biter. This is going to be a close one. No, it was like 2 of them dead right off the rip. The other one is just running. It was so great. It was so great. We'll play tactician mode eventually. Not the first time. First time I just want to kind of enjoy it. Yeah, enjoy it. There's still going to be a challenge. Yeah. It's still Baldur's Gate. It's still a Larian game. There's still going to be challenge even in the normal mode.
And you're still playing with me, and I like to make some silly decisions sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, overall, I guess the reason why it's so difficult in tactician mode is because they also include something called, like, this is real. Okay, so I'm going to explain this because it's really cool. So when you play the game on tactician difficulty, not only does it actually change every encounter, but it also changes your scenario encounters as well. So like even discussing and getting your rolls and stuff like that, like you're gonna have to roll for more things.
Got you. Okay.
Like even in like cinematic dialogue and stuff like that, a lot of that stuff even changes. And then when you go into the combat, now all of a sudden there's some area hazards that weren't there before. Now there's explosive barrels somewhere near you, or there's like things like that where it's like now you have to be able to navigate around that kind of stuff. And then also they've introduced what they like to call brutal AI, which from how they discussed it, they said that this AI will it'll target the lowest health character that you have in the party. It'll protect their lowest health character. Yeah, it'll do all that kind of stuff.
That is we're gonna have to play that. I mean, there's already some tough fights in that, just the slice that we have right now on just story mode. I mean, there's some pretty nail biting close fights, like the one with the witch. That's a tough fight. Like that's a tough fight.
That's because she's tough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But could you imagine that on tactician mode?
I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's gonna be bad.
I'll play tactician mode once there's mods and I'm already rich before the game even starts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, how much gold do you have? All of it. I have all of it. Gold in the game.
How do you feel about the fact that they actually included a reroll in the game?
I like it because it doesn't have to be modded in, right? And 2, I don't know how many times that we've played Divinity or something, and then had someone jump in and like, I don't want to play this character. Let's start all over from fresh. And you're just like, all you're doing is in the cycle of making brand new parties. Just having somebody be able to jump in and tweak it to how they're liking to play. I think it's pretty good. Pretty cool.
Yeah, overall really impressed with all the choices that they made to do. There were some people that were pushing back on the reroll thing because they're like, well, that's not very true to D&D. And it's like, well, you have to remember it's a video game.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be fun. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things that it's kind of a bad thing about D&D because it is so straight-laced to try to stay within the rules in the canon of all that stuff. And then for some people, that's a real big turnoff. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, like a lot of people, gaming wise, we don't like to be put in a box. We really don't. We want to play the game the way we want to play it, and that's such a smart move and a good gamer minded move for them to do that.
Yeah. I mean, overall, everything from the Panel of Hell was just so damn good.
Dude, the beginning when the dude's like stuffing his guts back in.
It's okay. It's okay. He's a producer. He can fix himself.
Oh, dude, it's so awesome.
He's a producer. Awesome. He can fix himself. Don't worry about him. We got a show to do.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh, just here it is. Put some more in there.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. And the funny thing is that like as we're like growing closer to release, I'm genuinely surprised with like how much content that they've added to the game.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this. I was just expecting more chapters. I wasn't expecting even more subclasses, even more classes, even more races, more playable characters, revamped origin system.
So what do you know about like and I don't, maybe the chat knows, and because I'm just not familiar with it and then I haven't looked it up. Like the dragon's got like 9 different subclasses and they're each color. Does that change your abilities, or maybe is it like an inherent, like elves are better with bows, whatever color the dragon is, gives them some sort of
elemental affinity.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's all elemental affinity. Yeah, so like you'll be resistant to a certain element, or you will actually have advantage with certain elements. So okay. if you're an ice dragon, obviously ice spells will work better for you. Something also really cool. The foresight. The foresight of Larian. Like I just love the level of detail that they go into. And they're like, okay, well, what if you actually choose what if you want to play a draconic mage as a dragonborn, right? Because if you think about it, when you play the draconic lines. As another character, you end up getting scales, remember? Yeah. You have like scales on your face. Well, if you're already covered in scales, you know what? You just are what you are. That's it. No, they're like, okay, so we're gonna do is if you pick that class archetype as a dragonborn, then you will have like special designs on your scales. Basically a third layer of customizable scales on top of your character. With all these like really cool looking designs and colors and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, they didn't have to do that. No. Did you see like the metallic and pearlescent colors that they added? Yeah, if you pick white. That's super dope. Yeah. The amount of customization and the freedom that they give, and then just the care and detail that's gone into this game is honestly, it's unlike anything that we've seen other than like Elden Ring. Yeah. I don't know of another game. But I take that back. Hogwarts. I'd say Hogwarts. Tears of the Kingdom. Those people love. Yeah, those people loved the game. They love the what they made. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. But I would still say Hogwarts is like a AA game though. Really? Yeah. In hindsight, after playing it, am I gonna remember how great Hogwarts was next year? No. That's what I mean. Am I going to remember how much fun Tears of the Kingdom was next year? Yeah. No. Yeah, I will. Oh, I was just saying, I don't know. You were just going to continue. I thought we were spitballing. Like Tears of the Kingdom, I'm going to remember how great that was next year. Hogwarts is just kind of a one-off. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was a good game. It was a good game. It was nice to play a good game, but it's nothing special. You know what I mean? I was just saying like it was a passion project. That's what I mean. Like yeah, but this goes well beyond that. Yeah. This goes Baldur's Gate goes light years beyond that, to the point where like the only other game that I said that I think that I've seen this level of care and attention would be like Elden Ring, or maybe Tears of the Kingdom or something like that, where it went into every aspect of the game. Actually, I would exclude Tears of Kingdom because that game ran like shit, but it was still an incredible game. It was still a ton of fun to play. But Elden Ring was a game that played excellently. It was also just well executed across the board. You know what I mean? Like there was no compromise. It's another no compromise game. And I really wish we could get back to that with these AAA developers. And I'm hoping that Larian helps to set the tone that Elden Ring did initially before the vid, right?
Yeah.
Where everything got shut down, quality kind of fell out from underneath us because people weren't working as much. Things slow down quite a lot. I'm hoping that Larian with Baldur's Gate 3 comes out and they set that tempo of no compromises AAA. Because that's what they have to get back to. They have to get back to just the game experience being so damn good that you can't put it down. The game looking so good that you can't believe you're seeing it. The music being so good that you can't stop listening. You know what I mean? Just all the way through. You can't stop. You have to. If you're already spending that much money to make these games in the first place, why are you compromising on anything?
Yeah. And you can tell that,
unless that money's being stolen.
Yeah. I mean, and you can tell like all the pre-purchase money they put into development. You know what I mean? For this game. Baldur's Gate 3. And that's another thing that usually doesn't happen. Like, look at Last Epic. Even though you could buy it early access, it never really changed. Like, its quality got just barely better. You know what I mean? They added stuff, but it just got barely better. It was, small.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, Break, I agree with you. They are bad. AAA games are just... It's such a business now. I mean, everybody's trying to go after this big piece of pie, the 500 gajillion gamers that they're trying to reach, and they're just trying to pump it out there to make money, and they'll fix it later. CD Projekt Red did it. I don't want to just pick on them. Almost every developer's done it. Just push the game out to get it out. But then you have gyms like Larian that take their time because they care about the product, what they give their, they want to give their audience a quality product, which is it's nice. It's nice for a change.
And the thing is, I don't even know if it's like that they want to give their audience a quality product as much as it is like these people obviously love their job.
Yeah.
Like they love the game that they're working on. You know what I mean? Like they genuinely love Baldur's Gate. They love D&D. You know what I mean? So for them to have the opportunity to make this game, they want to make it the best game they possibly can. And I think, if anything, one of the major issues that we have with AAA is that you have so many of these studios and so many of these teams working on games that they don't want to fucking work on.
What are you talking about, Redfall?
You fucking name it. Redfall. Yeah. I'd probably even say Halo. I'd probably say even fucking 343 doesn't want to work on Halo. They probably want to be doing their own game or making something else entirely.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They look over at Obsidian. It's like those guys get to make cool stuff like fucking
Avowed.
Grounded, stuff like that. Like they get to just make these cool side projects. You know what I mean? Like I guarantee that's what it is. These guys want to be dreaming up their own things and making their own stuff, not making this like pre-baked stuff that investors want to see pushed out. You know what I mean? That's the reason why all of a sudden now you're seeing like every single game, every single company wants to have an extraction shooter now. There was like 4 extraction shooters announced.
Yeah, me and Drake were...
because now all of a sudden they realize that Tarkov is a thing. Yep. Wait, what's that, Tarkov? Oh, you mean that game that's literally been there for the last like 3 or 4 fucking years in alpha?
Yeah. And me and Drake were talking about this. We had to go get some stuff for his new setup, and we were just driving the car and talking about it. And he was excited about a game, but then he realized that they kind of did a rug pull on it and then turned the game into an extraction game, an extraction shooter. And he's not real big on extraction shooters. And I was like, well, that market, there isn't a Fortnite. I mean, he goes, well, there's Tarkov. Everyone's going to say it's Tarkov-like. Yes, they're going to say it's Tarkov-like.
Yeah, but Tarkov... Tarkov doesn't have the support, the money, or the ability to manage its own fucking audience because it's so filled with cheaters.
Yeah, and so there's no Fortnite of extraction shooters yet, and so every company's trying to be that Epic. Basically, they're trying to be Epic of the extraction. So,
well, they're trying to beat somebody to the next battle royale.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's gonna be another game genre outside of battle royale that everybody's gonna want to play.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like they want to be the next whatever that thing is. They don't want to be the ones that missed out on making H1N1, H1Z1 or whatever it was. H1Z1 or PUBG or whatever. Like they don't want to miss out on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so they're constantly
swine flu.
That's what it was.
That was the swine flu. Yeah,
it was. It was. I know. So I just got the letter flipped, dude.
Yeah, it's all good.
I flipped one letter, and you're gonna give me.
You just went like this.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
yeah. I just flipped one letter, and you making fun of me for my dyslexia.
Yeah, yeah. You know that game, swine flu.
There is a game. What's that like infection game where you can like start a viral infection somewhere and spread it?
Oh shit! Yeah. Epidemic. Is that what it is?
I think so. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Or pandemic. I think it's pandemic.
Pandemic. That damn pan.
Jean-Claude Pandemic.
Oh my god, dude. All right, so let's talk about the Diablo 4 stuff. All right.
Yes.
We're not going to talk about the Diablo 4 drama because we've already talked about the drama. We're going to talk about the Diablo 4 stuff. Now that we've talked in our fair length about Baldur's Gate that we're extremely excited for, we can't wait to lose our lives to. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So, what have you learned so far, my friend?
I have learned that I was excited for nothing about a new character for a game that I don't play because I thought, oh, it's on Diablo 4. Nope, it's on Diablo Immortal. And so, but what's really good about it that they did this, okay, is that they're actually looking at new types of characters.
Yeah,
and
that is true. If they're doing it for one game, they can do it for the other, right?
They can do it for the other. So that gets me super hyped because that character looked like kind of cool to play. And that, you know what, our boy Cody would love to play that kid. Would love to play that character. So
think so?
Vampire Warrior, yeah.
There's
a Blood Knight or whatever. Yeah.
There's a trailer for it. I can find it. I promise. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I found it. There it is.
Yeah. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. That's exactly Cody, dude.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
yep.
It just
looks
is.
like a la carte, right?
Yep. Yep. And so that gives me a lot of hope. Drake was like, man, I really hope they bring the Witch Doctor, which would be cool, but like the fact that they're just coming up with new characters, look at that. That's so dope. I think that's super cool. I hope they add some stuff in.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool. Was there anything that you picked up out of the dev letter that you liked outside of that?
Not really. I mean, I was right. I was right about what they were going to do for the season, which I said they would do with gyms, which they did. I think it could be interesting enough to keep playing. I just that and the logging in on by like I think it's June 18th, the 2 days, at least 2 days before the deal. You won't have to do all your Liliths and your renowned stuff. But that's a really good thing, and I know it's controversial in the community. They, ARPGers, your hardcore boys, that's not what an ARPG season is. You're supposed to start from scratch and do all over.
No, that is the opposite what people are saying.
Well, no. I'm just saying there's flip back and forth, which I'm fine. I'm fine with the way that they did it. But the question that it brings up for me is that going to, what am I going to do? What am I going to do to level up? Are you going to make me just do nightmare dungeons until I die? You know what I mean? Like in real life? Like, is that what's going to happen? Because that's what it feels like.
Okay. So let's actually review the changes for for the Season of the Malignant. Basically, how Season of Malignant is going to work is this. In the world, there are going to be random elites. Those random elites are going to be malignant. You kill that random elite, it's going to drop a malignant heart. You tap it, and it will summon a stronger version of that elite and a monster pack. You kill them, and then you'll get a gem that you can socket into your equipment. However, that gem is color specific, so you'll have different colored sockets for different pieces of equipment for your rings and for your necklace. So chances are there's a really good chance that, like, let's say you got a really good ring, but maybe it doesn't have the right colored socket that you want.
Yeah.
SOL, you need to try to find another one of those rings, but with the right colored socket.
Yeah.
So they're trying to bring variety and more RNG to us getting the equipment that we need to be powerful in Diablo 4. However, I will say this from what I've seen from a couple of the sample malignant hearts, the powers do look really strong and really cool. So I think that it would be it's definitely going to build a little bit of build variety, which is good, which is definitely something that we want. Some of these powers look really unique. However, I think it's too overpowered of a mechanic by itself. And I think that they're going about things in the wrong way, and I'll kind of get into that here in a second. Outside of that, there's obviously a quest that we're going to be able to follow as well. New items are being added to the game. I think
new uniques too.
Yep, I think 4 or 5 new uniques and 7 legendary aspects. What else? And then there's also going to be malignant tunnels. These are going to be something where you can salvage malignant hearts that you find, turn them into a key, which allows you to be able to target farm specific hearts that you're looking for. So that is going to give us a different type of dungeon to do as well. They also mentioned that there's going to be new bosses that they've added into the game, and a few other things on top of that. But most of the stuff is all the main stuff is basically what I've said. I already put out a video on this. Most of you guys have probably already seen it. I don't think that this is enough content to appease the crowd that is the most vocal in Diablo. If anything, this is probably going to serve to finally get rid of those people, which is great in my opinion. I think that's what needs to happen, because most of those people just want Diablo 4 to be Path of Exile 2.5. Or 2.0. Yeah, exactly. So, people are really confused about what the target audience for Diablo 4 is, and they don't realize that it really is a game that's meant for a more casual audience. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm saying that. The reason why I'm saying that it's being made for a more casual audience is specifically because of those malignant hearts. Because the powers in those malignant hearts look fucking busted. Like, way overpowered.
Yeah, they do.
Where you're just gonna be ridiculously strong by one point of the game, and you're just gonna farm through the game super quickly. And you were bringing up, like, well, what am I gonna do for XP? Well, you still have to do the campaign. You can skip it if you want to. You don't have to. But you can do it if you want. You still have to, for renown. You still have to quest. All of your renown is not unlocked. Only the first 2 levels of your renown. Okay. The only thing that's carrying over is going to be your map. Is going to be your map data, and your statues of Lilith.
Okay.
But you're still going to have to grind all the quests back out, go and do all of the dungeons, and unlock all of the legendary aspects again. You have to go do all of that stuff again. Yeah. And there's people that. Actually, I'm not even going to say there's people that don't. There is nobody that doesn't want it. There's people that want all of the renown to be unlocked. And I'm one of those people. I don't want to do any of that shit again.
No. I was saying that there's people that like, they don't want it. Like, there are the hardcore that don't want it, but a lot of people do want it.
Hey, thanks for the super chat. Dread with $10 says, hey, I literally just found your channel, but I have pretty much the same views as you guys do on Diablo 4 and Baldur's Gate. Subbed, can't wait to roll Necromancer in Baldur's Gate 3.
Dude, Dread's my new fave. Sorry, Tom, you're out.
Yeah,
Necromancer life, baby.
Yeah, I still haven't really decided what I'm going to play for Baldur's Gate 3 yet.
I know what you're going to play. I know what you're going to play.
What am I going to play?
You're going to play a caster. And I think you're going to play think you're gonna play a
Eldritch
wizard.
Blast. I will Eldritch Blast the world to pieces. I will play Warlock day one. That is a no cap on a stack all the way. Ian the cleric.
Last time Ian played a cleric and I played with him, he hit me in the face and killed me. So he's not allowed to use the cleric. He's not allowed to be the cleric anymore.
I gotta find that clip. I gotta find that clip again of us playing Dark and Darker together, and Mark almost dies to a trap, and I just came up behind him, and he's like, Ian, heal me, and I'm just like, bonk. I thought it was the cast button. Oh well, too bad. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. So I don't think it's going to be enough content to keep people happy, but it's gonna jettison quite a lot of people out of the group, and I think it's gonna kind of calm things down a little bit on the Diablo side, because I knew that they weren't gonna go like whole hog on the first season.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's gonna answer a lot of questions. It's gonna answer questions, and it's gonna also the community already thinks it's pay to win as it is. But when the season pass comes out with it, how it works, what they add into it. If you've noticed the store, I checked the store anyway just to see what's in there. I haven't purchased anything. They really haven't updated that store much at all. They really haven't.
I haven't purchased anything?
No, since I first purchased something. I haven't purchased anything since, because the in-game gear actually looks better. It looks cooler than what they have.
Yeah.
And they haven't really been pumping out the content on it, except for like horses and shut your whore mouth. They don't pump out the all the skins and stuff that Daddy likes. But so I'm just curious, because I'm pretty sure you get 4 skins for each character in the first season. If you bought the
Say that again?
If you bought the big package.
Really get what?
They said you get I just got that.
You get 4 skins.
Basically, you're gonna get skins for each character. You're gonna get skins for each character type out of that battle pass. So
I just like pictured like a necklace.
That's $10 for 4 skins. Oh my god, I'm dying.
Anyway, so yeah, I have my issues with like just the mechanics, man. Like I don't like having to like, we're gonna have to stop and press the heart and then summon the monsters, then kill the monsters, and then we get the heart, and then maybe it's the one that we wanted. And the problem is that I don't like the design of it, because it really interrupts the flow of the game, which is just kill shit, go fast. It's the idea of Diablo. It's the idea of ARPGs to begin with.
Yeah.
Go fast as fuck. It's just like faster. And when you can't do that, and you have these moments that interrupt the gameplay, that's the stuff that you're not really going to enjoy, right? Like that's the stuff it's going to make the game feel bad. And that's why I brought it before. I'm like, I wish they would have just like, instead of just made it where it was just like, maybe, I don't know, like made it like shrines or something like that. Where the things that like would pop out, what they would pop out of or something, you know what I mean? Something that wouldn't necessarily interrupt your gameplay flow. But I think that the mechanic they're introducing and the equipment that they're also introducing is also like, it's too overpowered. And because of that, if you notice in the dev stream, they talked about how they're not going to be holding on to this mechanic in the future.
No.
Once this season's done, it goes into the trash.
Yeah.
Now, they're saying that doesn't necessarily mean that if the community really likes something, or we notice that something really works very well, then we'll see about potentially adding it into the whole game, right? Adding it into the base game, the Eternal Realm, etc. But their stance is, or their plan is, not to add any of this stuff into there. It's just going to be throwaway content, which I think is really fucking stupid. And they were bringing up, and initially I actually respected their decision, because I was like, oh, well, they just don't want the game to become too bloated like Path of Exile, because Path of Exile has a ton of content. It has too much. There's too, as a new player getting in, you're like, what is this thing? What is this thing? What is this thing? What are all these different events that are all over the place that I have no idea how to interact with them or do anything? And a really good example of this is like the fucking menagerie and the latest mechanic they have where you can like I can't remember what the latest league was called, but there's one where you basically have to like hold the button down, and the further it goes down, the stronger the monsters are going to get.
Yeah.
And it's a mechanic that most people that actually play PoE, they say don't even do it at all. But if you were a new player that hasn't watched 4 hours of tutorial on how to play Path of Exile, you're not going to know that. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to know. Oh, don't even mess with those things because they're not even worth it. They're not even worth it. But at the same time, Path of Exile also does a really good job at continuing to balance all of this stuff and make it still all make sense in the end game or throughout the game, where all of these things are still balanced and it's not like a shit show for like the numbers page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where that's what Diablo is trying to avoid, is having a game that's too difficult to balance.
Yeah,
which is funny because they've already made a game that's too difficult for them to balance.
Yeah, like
resistances don't fucking work. Fucking half of Sork's gear doesn't fucking work.
It's, man, like I lost my train of thought. Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of them being lazy.
That's what it is. It's staple. There are staple mechanics that they could add to the game. You know what I mean? Like foundational staple stuff. And they should have some throwaway stuff. They like, let's say you get to you get to level like 80 or something with your seasonal character. Maybe one of your skills, like one of your skills becomes like one of the unique, the Big Daddy unique type stats on it. You know what I mean? That's a throwaway. But like adding having the hearts thing, that could be a staple. You know what I mean? It could be something to do. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of weird that they would just have. They should have both. That's what I'm saying. That's how you balance it. You should have stuff that makes you busted. That's the throwaway stuff, and then, I mean, it's just gonna depend on how these gyms bust us, because they did the gyms like this in Diablo 3 made you busted. They made you busted.
Yeah. Like, yeah, they're basically giving us Diablo 3's end game for our first season loop, right? Except for you can't level up the gems. You just level up your Paragon board, right?
Yep.
So what I was gonna say is like you said, like means they're lazy, balance the game. I don't think it's necessarily that. I just don't think they know what they're doing. I don't think it has anything to do with laziness, as it actually has like they might just have the wrong people in charge of balance.
Yeah.
For you to release the game and resistances don't work, that means that you have somebody that's working for you that has no idea what the fuck they're doing. It has nothing to do with it's not that they don't want the game. This is the problem that I have with a lot of, especially that Diablo 4 subreddit. They act like Blizzard wants the game to be bad. Are you fucking stupid? They want this game to be great. They want it to make them money and more money and more money. They want you buying that battle pass. They want you participating in every season. They want you making 6 characters. The fact is, I just don't think they necessarily have the talent for it right now. I don't think they have the right people in the right positions for it. And here, you have to keep this in mind, okay? These are all things that fall onto Todd Ferguson's shoulders, right? Ferguson was hired in the middle of COVID. He didn't even get to meet any of these people. He hasn't been able to really actually have like hands-on managing until this last year. So he's going to probably start fixing some holes in the ship, I'd imagine by now.
Yeah.
You're probably going to start to see some new hires, some moving around, some people getting shuffled around through the company and stuff like that. Because, yeah, I mean, I try to approach this from the most like just realistic standpoint I possibly can. There's issues in the game. How did those issues get there in the first place? How did they not get noticed through testing? And that was like, I brought that up in the video that I made. Probably because when they did their testing rounds, they didn't allow people to test the game for long enough. I saw somebody commented on the video like, yeah, but we tested in the betas. We tested in the open betas. And it's like, yeah, we tested up to level 25. We tested up to level 25. What are you fucking smoking? None of the players at the time mentioned anything about there being any type of like inventory issue during the betas. It wasn't until we got to the point where we actually started playing the game full time and we got the full release that we were like, oh shit, yeah, this is probably going to be an issue. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You know what makes me mad as a Necromancer player is that at level 25 they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna nerf minions. At level 25, we're just gonna go ahead and nerf them. Everyone playtested at level 25. Let's nerf the minions.
Which they've fixed. Obviously, they've kind of worked on fixing that, but also at the same time, there's like certain legendaries and stuff that don't. There's nothing to really help you have a good minion build right now.
No, there's not.
And Sorks are also fucked up as well. Sorks have a bunch of issues with their gearing because a lot of their uniques like also like reduce your ability to use other things and stuff. It's the only class that has uniques that say we're gonna give you this, but we're gonna take away this. It's the only class that has negative uniques. It's really weird. So like it just goes to show that like whoever was doing the balancing portion of this or whoever they had leading the balancing portion of this was probably not the right person for the job.
Drinking on the job.
So and like I mean you can say what you will, but like what's the end game? So okay, we've identified the issue, but that's all gamers are fucking good for, right? We have to keep that in mind. We need to be humbled in the fact that like we are the best at pointing out issues, but we couldn't solve a fucking problem to save our lives.
No, we have all the complaints, but none of the answers. We act like
we know the solution. What's the solution, gamers? Make a better game. Make it better. Ah. You know what I mean? Like we act like we have this. We don't have a fucking solution. We can identify it and say like, I'd love to get a job with them and get in there and help them fix some things. Yeah, what do you know, Break? What's your job?
They did a huge posting. I mean, like a huge.
I say the same thing. I say the same thing, and I work in fucking construction.
You know what bothers me? I mean, it's not that it really bothers me. It's just I think it's weird that Rod Ferguson posted all the job listings on Twitter. Like, I mean, I get it, social media. It just seems weird. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Seems like a weird place. It'd be like going to a restaurant to eat in the toilet. Seems weird.
He posted the job listings on Twitter, just as they do like everything on Twitter because it's California,
I get it.
And here in California, 90% of people actually live through Twitter.
Yeah. That's what's wrong with California.
Especially, I mean, they're in Irvine. They're not far from me. And everybody in Los Angeles, they live on fucking Twitter. It's ridiculous. I'm so happy I'm not from here. Otherwise, I would be a bad person. I'm kidding. People from here are not bad. Just most of them. Just most of them.
Just most of them.
Twitter is not awesome. You're smoking like I don't even know, something not good for yourself. So let's see here. It actually it's not like a specific website. It's literally just the entirety of the internet is just a cesspool.
It is. It's like going to a restaurant and eating in the toilet.
Yeah, it's a cesspool for people that have really bad opinions, really bad takes on things, and act like their opinions matter more than anybody else's.
Yes. Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah.
Like me. So what else? I wanted to talk about a couple more things with the season. Like the funny thing is like there's not a lot to talk about because like there really isn't like mechanically like that much to it.
Nothing changed. Yeah, nothing really changed except for the gyms. That's it.
Yeah, which I mean that's a mechanic. There's special monsters that you're gonna fight. There's a special dungeon that we're gonna be able to go to. I don't know if that's gonna be like we're not having the Twitter debate right now.
And this season's supposed to run what, like 3 months?
Yes, it's gonna run 3 months, but I think that's gonna drain people.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna drain people. I don't think it's gonna be enough to keep because we're honestly just gonna be doing the same thing we've already done already. It doesn't. Then again, at the same time, I think it actually might still be okay. Because if you think about it, you're going to be able to engage with these mechanics from the start.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to be like, oh, I have to wait until I'm level 50, 60, or I wait till I complete the campaign, and then I can take part in like the seasonal mechanic. It's going to be something that you're going to be able to do right from the get-go. And because of that, that means you're going to do a lot more damage also right from the start, which means that you're going to level a lot faster right from the start. Because if you remember, there's things through the battle pass that increase your experience. Mm-hmm. You'll also be able to get your season's blessings, which is you get from doing favors. Remember, once you get favors, you can unlock season's blessing. Season's blessing has bonus experience gain from monsters. It also has something that increases the length of time on your urns and on your flasks. So that means that's going to be longer, more XP. There's going to be a lot of XP bonuses and things like that that are going to make us level our characters much faster than we normally do, than we did originally in the Eternal Realm. Now, add that on top of the fact that we also have all of the Nightmare Dungeon changes that they made. Remember where they increased they increased the XP for Nightmare Dungeons? So these new characters that we're going to be making are going to be leveling much faster. Much faster than we ever did on our initial characters. Yeah. More in line with what we would feel would be normal for a seasonal character. We also don't know anything about the boss or anything like that they've added into the game. They
added more world bosses too. That's a part of the season.
There's world bosses they're adding as well. Okay, I didn't see that. I didn't see that part. One of the other things as well that I saw too. Was that they had also talked about I tweeted fucking I tweeted at Adam Fletcher or Joe. No, I tweeted at Joe Pipiora, and I asked, I was like, hey, do you guys have any plans on making capstone dungeons or any of the story bosses a part of the end game in the near future? We could really use something to break up the monotony of the end game. To which he then responded to me, what was it? He said the thing.
A non-committal answer.
A non-committal answer. Yeah, he said launch is just the beginning.
Good things to come.
Yeah, good things to come. So like it was kind of a non-answer, but it was also like not a negative one. So that's honestly my biggest hope for them, and one of the things that I think would really change a lot of people's outlook on the game and like how well the game would play in the future is if they included our ability to kill bosses, go bossing, boss rushing, things like that. Yeah, something else to break up the end game loop. I'd love the ability for Mark and I to be able to hop into a party with each other. And we say, all right, guys, we're just going to run around and we're just going to kill bosses for like an hour.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. No, it's like the way I'm looking at it, I love Diablo and I'm going to play it. But like I said, by the time the season drops, I'm probably going to play it for about 11 days and then I'm going to start playing Baldur's Gate. You know what I mean? That's going to end up being my deal. I'll come back in, do like I'm playing now. Level up a little bit, play an hour or so a day maybe, and then on to something else. Because 3 months is a long time, you know what I mean? And I have kind of like you. I kind of have ADHD. I will go to something different right off the bat. Like,
I would agree. I'm gonna do the same thing.
Like if there's not enough shiny stuff for me to touch, then I'm gonna go on and find something else to do. So.
And I think the other thing is that I just don't play a game for that long. Like I'll play a game continuously over a year or so or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to play Diablo for years.
Yeah. It's a long-term relationship.
Yeah, it's a long-term relationship. Just like Baldur's Gate's going to be the same way.
Oh, yeah.
But it takes me a long time to like wean off of a game and not play it anymore. So, but I'm just excited that other games are going to be coming out. And we get to just kind of take a break from Diablo.
Yes.
I think that's really what needs to happen right now. I think people need to take a break from Diablo. We've been consuming Diablo-related content, videos. We've been doing the betas. Then we played the game for over a month. I think we just need to play some other stuff and just take a break and cleanse. And yes, we need to go on a spirit journey. We need to go on a collective gaming spirit journey. I think that's the main thing. So, but like I said, I think the seasonal mechanics are light. However, it's well within what I thought they would probably do for their first season. I would imagine their second season will be much heavier.
Well, let's hope. I mean, like I said, and we've made this comment before. I think that honestly, season 4 or 5 are probably when it's going to hit its stride. To be honest with you, when it's going to, that's probably when they're going to start adding new characters. Maybe 3. We'll go there. Start adding new characters, which that'll put us in probably mid next year. So,
I don't think they'll add a new character until they do a expansion.
Really? I think they're going to add them seasonally. I do.
No, they won't.
Yep.
You're literally like smoking.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
you're 4 skins.
It don't smoke itself. Someone's got to do it. Right?
Yeah. I know. There's no way. There's not enough character archetypes in the Diablo universe for them to do one seasonally, especially if you're talking about
one.
Especially
one.
For the first time ever.
Yeah.
So that means now they can do it every 3 months.
You play Diablo Immortal, don't you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. So anyway, but yeah, no. Outside, I mean, like to what you guys are talking about in chat. I mean, like I'm a seasonal player to begin with, anyway. Like once I'm gonna play some Baldur's Gate 3. Obviously, I'll play some Starfield. Once I've played some Starfield and some Baldur's Gate 3. Then the new expansion for Final Fantasy XIV comes out. I'll blast that for probably a couple months. Then I'll go back to Diablo for a little bit. Then I'll play whatever else is new on the board at the moment. Maybe I'll go back and I'll play some older games if there's nothing new that's on the board. You know what I mean? Then I go back to Baldur's Gate for a little bit. Then I go back to Diablo for a little bit. Then I go back to Final Fantasy. Like that's how you do it, right? You just don't stay on one game. And I think the problem is with a lot of folks is that they were looking for something they could dedicate all of their time to, and that they would like. And actually, I think the most vocal people are the streamers, right? Which were the people that were planning on dedicating all of their life to the game.
Well, yeah. I mean, you've got a lot of streamers that got big real quick because of Diablo 4, and which I want to bring up is people who thought this game was going to be an MMO. Shame on you. Like shame on you. The developers never said it was going to be an MMO.
Did you see that comment?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
Somebody commented on one of my last videos. It was like Diablo 4 Blizzard lizard move, another lying move. They told us this was going to be an MMORPG, and they attracted the MMORPG crowd, and then they lied. False advertising. We need to sue.
I you know what? Information. I wouldn't even say it's an MMO light. Right? If you actually look at the map on this game, it's not a very big map. It's really not. I like it's an ARPG through and through. It just seems like it's more of an open world. But it's, I mean, it is what it is. Instead of having hubs and then you go into like a quasi, open world like you did with 3, it's just larger scale, and then you're just going into the smaller instances, aka dungeons. That's about it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay.
Turn it down.
Do you have anything else to talk about today?
A lot of games coming out in July. I mean, we've been running for about 112 minutes, but a lot of games coming out in July. We've got Not Ashes of Creation, Remnant is coming out. Remnant 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
There's some interesting games coming out. I think Armored Core comes out in August too. Actually, it comes out right after Baldur's Gate. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Man, I'm spending a lot of money on games this year, huh?
Yeah, it's going to feel like that. No, we're not on a time limit. We just don't like people to be bored. So
yeah, I mean, like we hit the point. We hit the points that we talk about. We come to talk about.
Yeah, me and Ian can sit here and bullshit each other all day. So,
well, I mean, we're still going to continue to do that on stream after the podcast is done, but it's also trying to, actually, we are on a time limit. I don't go over 2 hours on the podcast, not unless we have a guest and it's like a big deal or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's specifically just to make sure it's more digestible for those who listen to the podcast on YouTube.
Yep. And we are waiting for Bobby Kotick to answer our emails.
Yeah. So. And once he comes on and he tells us how we can get yachts and stuff. And he's like, He's like, look, you guys can have my old yacht if you just tell everybody that Diablo 4 and also by extension Diablo Immortal is the best game that you've ever played in your entire life.
Yep.
You plug it every single stream. You dedicate all of your times to that.
You know his yacht runs solely off of breast milk, right? That's the fuel for his yacht. So, dude, don't make Ian sad about saying he's boring. He's not.
What? Ian's always boring. No worries for the long run. Yeah, no shit. No shit.
No, there's just a lot of stuff coming out. I mean, a lot of games.
I have not looked. I feel bad, dude, because like I've been so absorbed into like so many other games that I have like not looked at anything related to Remnant at all. I know nothing of the game.
It looks like they went like ham on bosses.
Did they?
Time. Yeah, they went ham on bosses this time. Which is cool. The boss encounters are really cool. We talked about it a little bit last week, but depending on how you kill the boss, gives you certain weapons. I'm hoping that stuff carries over, but the bosses look super, super cool. It looks more polished than the original.
Let me look at something. Where's this one? 2 hours, 2 minutes, or 2 minutes. There we go. This one.
But there's just a lot coming up in this fall. So, like I said, I'm not really worried about
humanity's
the
thirst for knowledge.
Season. It's disappointing, but it's also I didn't expect much either. So, I'm not really upset about it. We kind of tempered our expectations over it anyway.
Over what?
You really haven't watched this?
I have.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that looks good. It's still going to be procedural generated too.
That's awesome. I've always really liked that there was like certain passives that I found that you never found. There were weapons that I had that you hadn't seen yet because you never got that boss.
Yep.
Yeah. By the time you and I started playing like more co-op stuff, our builds were so unique from one another.
Yeah.
That it was like two completely different players, and I'm really hoping they lean harder into this one. It sounds like, from what I was told, it sounds like they have a ton of new build options, which is awesome. That's really exciting.
I'm hoping that your character, like, it's one thing that it, like, at the launch of the original game, like, it didn't, like, why would you pick anything but the crit one? Because everything else didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, the different classes, like, it just didn't seem like they did anything. And I'm hoping that it's fixed on this one, or at least a little bit better implemented.
Well, the thing is that anytime you add a mechanic into the game and it is crit, it is always going to be the best class.
Yeah, that's true.
More damage is always the best choice. You know what I mean? Like, try to think what game not having high crit and high crit damage isn't the best way to go.
Mario. Zelda. Punch Out doesn't have high crit. It's just a waiting game. Destiny 2 doesn't have it.
Why are you naming games that don't even have it? They don't even have crit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you like this?
You know what? I want to call back to something you said just earlier, where you were talking about the speed of just jamming through the dungeons.
Yeah.
What other characters have you like played past the demo? Like past the beta. I'm sorry, the beta of Diablo 4. Like the rogue's your main, right? So, and I know
I played all of them.
You played no past the beta. Like after, like in the full release, you've mainly, like, as far as you've got is rogue, right? You haven't like done another.
No, I haven't made a single character. No.
Okay. So
why would I?
Okay.
Other than to waste time when it takes so much time to invest to even make a.
But what I'm saying is the rogue character specifically is built for speed. Most of the other characters are not, and so except for maybe the barbarian. So that's like, it's a different, like it's interesting because the way that you think the heart thing is going to be a hindrance to you is going to be like normal gameplay for other characters. Does that make sense?
Oh, like walking?
Yeah, like, yeah, basically. You like when we play a dungeon and I'm just like back there picking up gold and you're just all there already killing the end boss. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at the boss and you're about 2 feet from the entrance.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, where'd all this loot come from?
Cool fight. But yeah, so it might not be the same for other people as it would be for you, since I think you're gonna have a hard time in the season doing a different character. I don't know if you're going to enjoy the game as much.
Why?
Because the speed. This is a significantly slower.
I'll just never play anything other than Rogue.
It's what are you making this season? A Rogue.
Rogue.
What about next season? Rogue.
I mean, I've watched other streamers do it. They only play one class.
Yeah. Well, this, like I said, this Diablo is it's a slow Diablo. So.
Yeah, it is. It is. I agree. All right, guys. So we are going to cut it there. That is the end of the show today. We have talked enough. I need to go and get some groceries and stuff like that, and then I'm going to be back on here shortly, probably within the hour, and I will pop the stream on, and I probably won't do it on YouTube. I'll probably do it on Twitch maybe. And then hang out on Twitch after this, probably playing some Halls of Torment and something else. Outside of that, thank you guys for coming.
Join the Discord.
Join the Discord.
We'll be in the Discord.
Yeah, we'll be in the Discord. Outside of that, Mark, do you have anything else for him?
Yep. Our buddy Fonz's podcast is up. If you would go over there and tell him that the Just Gaming podcast sent you to say hi, he'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and we're the best. Yep. Outside of that, stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe, my friends. We will see you next time. Be cool.
I'm balding.